Okay, I believe we should be live now. Hello, hello. If you can hear me, say something in chat. Hello, hello. Looks like Sharon's here. Hey, what's up? How's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to my live stream. Let me turn down the music just slightly. Might be a little bit too loud. If it's too loud, just let me know. But anyways, yeah. Welcome to my live stream. Today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Horizons Episode 113, Episode 2 of the Kalos Flashback arc. We have the debut of Emma in this episode. I'll get some backstory, and really, this episode mostly focused on him. And yeah, so how was the episode overall? Well, before I get on with the discussion here, I just want to say if you are someone that's brand new to the channel and like this type of content, it'd be pretty cool if you subscribe to the channel, like the stream, watch as much as you can, and join the chat. Also, for those that are brand new here, usually what we do is I give it about 5-10 minutes at the beginning here to just kind of introduce everyone, just talk to everyone as they're coming in. Usually about 5-10 minutes into the stream, I'll give my summary of the episode, assign a rating to the episode, and then, yeah, after that point, I give it over the chat, and we usually go on an hour and a half. Today, we're probably going to wrap things up at about the 1 hour mark. 1 hour, like 1 hour, 10 minute mark, somewhere in that range, just because I got somewhere to be after this stream, so yeah, just an FYI for those joining here. And then, of course, the music here in the background comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge by Game Chops. Link in the description if you want to check that out. It's lo-fi remixes of video game music along with some originals sprinkled in here and there. You'll hear stuff from like Pokemon, obviously, Zelda, Mario, Final Fantasy, pretty much any big video game franchise is going to be included here, so yeah. Anyways, yeah. Check it out sometime. It's cool stuff. Anyways, let's see who's all here. I know I saw Sharon. Thoughts on Legend ZA? I have only played the game for about 2-ish, less than 3 hours, so I don't really have much of an opinion. All I will say so far is that on the Switch 2 version, it runs fine, which is good. It's a step in the right direction compared to what we got with Scarlet and Violet. So that's a plus in my book. Characters seem fine. I wish we had voice acting, because there's some scenes now that really kind of require it. So Pokemon might want to think about that for Gen 10. And I don't really care about the tutorial in the beginning, because it kind of just feels like it's forcing yourself to, do the tutorial and stuff like that. And every time I'll see something, I'm like, oh, I want to go over there, and the game just stops me. And yeah, I don't like that very much. So yeah, for Gen 10, let's not do that. Maybe add a skip button, please, and thanks. Emma had a Mega Ampharos because she has one in Legend. Hey, can you, not spoil, please? I'm gonna ask you not to do that again, Sharon. Please and thanks. No information about the game, please. Because I did not know that, and now you spoiled it for me. I barely played the game, so yes, please, thanks. Hi, Thomas. I hate Legend ZA. They didn't flesh out the city. You can't go into most of the buildings. They had one city, and they didn't even flesh that out. I'm not buying it. Okay, that's totally fine. It's your choice. Episode was a 10, I see. Masters EX has voice acting. Yep. I know. Sup, Pokefan. Anyways, hey guys, I know that it's Legend ZA is fresh and about 2 days old, but I kind of want to not talk about it, if that's possible. I would prefer if we just focus on the anime. If that's alright with you all. That way we prevent this from devolving into, you know, a conversation that has nothing to do with the the series. But I am doing a Let's Play of Legend ZA on the channel, so if you want to, you know, check that out, yeah, I'll be probably resuming it tomorrow or Monday. But next week Genshin's new update is out, so I will probably be streaming a little bit next week, and then doing Genshin, and then going right back to Legend ZA. I didn't get to see subs, so I kind of have no context. Well, might want to do that after this stream, but I will give context where context is needed. 7.5 out of 10. Fine with me. I need to finish the game. Yep. Well, this will be the last thing I bring up for ZA for now. I picked Totodile, so there you go. Anyways, how are you all doing? I'll give it another minute and then I'll begin summarizing this episode. Just curious. A lot of people picked Toilet, which is why I feel the star selection was not that great. Well, yeah. Anyways, let's, again, please, let's kind of just chill on ZA for now. Maybe bring it up once we're done talking about the episode. Does that sound good? Yeah. Alright, in a few seconds I'm going to begin giving my summary of this episode. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. Episode 113 of Pokemon Horizons. Part 2 of the Kalos flashback episodes. So, following Roy and Alt's defeat at the hands of the Yellow Blast, we're hanging out with Emma. Yeah. Turns out that Alt lives with Emma. Also, it looks like they're prone to some power outages, which Emma uses her Ampharos Mega Evolves in order to power up the electricity in the building. So that's kind of neat. But we talked to her. We learn a few things. She learns a few things about Roy and them. I like how Alt brings up his Dust Ball. He's like, I got a super powerful Pokemon in here, but I don't know what it is. I wonder what this Pokemon is that we find out later on. We found out a couple months ago was actually Dragonite. But then Roy pulls out the ancient Pokeball. He's like, I got a super powerful Pokemon in here. Do you want to know what it is? Nope. And also Emma learns that Roy's from the Rising Bolt Tacklers. She even brings up Exceeds, the one that spread that story about the Rising Bolt Tacklers causing all the problems on Merkua on that mountain. It seems like she kind of realizes that Roy's not a bad person, so she believes him. But we get our first connection to the prior, our first real connection to the prior Pokemon anime being Looker. Yeah, because Looker looked after Emma and actually helped her, basically raised her, and now she's essentially doing the same for Alt, which I think is kind of nice. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah. She does clearly look a lot older here, so I'm mad. I wonder if we do get to see Emma in the future, because this is 1 year before the current events in the series. I'm wondering if she might have her like modern design from ZA. That would be kind of neat. It's kind of interesting because we actually learn about Alt's backstory. I know he has parents, but not really sure what exactly happened with them. But apparently, Alt was homeless. He lived in a back alley in Kalos, in Lumio City. Kind of sad. But Emma took him in, and yeah, he lives with her, and she feeds him and takes care of him. Actually taught him how to read and write and stuff, which is kind of interesting. So anyways, they're talking about Mega Evolution, and I like how Emma kind of notes that Alt wasn't interested in it before, but suddenly now he's interested in it. And Emma actually asked Roy to be Alt's friend. He's like, "Oh, you two really are getting along pretty well." So something that Emma wants for Roy and Alt to be friends. Kind of neat. Anyways, Alt wants to go back and face off against Lucario. Roy catches up to him, and then Master Mayonnaise comes out and is like, "Oh, you two are just like loitering around here? Why don't you two have a battle?" So then we get Roy versus Alt, and yeah, Roy wipes the floor with Alt. And it's because, yeah, he doesn't have a very strong bond with his Pokemon yet. It's pretty clear that he doesn't really understand Pokemon well enough yet. And he is just recklessly using moves without, considering his Pokemon. And because of that, like, he uses up all his Power Gem. He uses all his PP up, I guess. And can't use the move anymore, when it could have actually done some pretty big damage on Crocodile, but unfortunately used it up and it kept missing. And yeah, Roy completely dominates in this battle. And Alt tries to bring out Dragonite, but of course Dragonite doesn't come out. And Master Mayonnaise kind of tells him the hard truth that like he doesn't have a strong bond with his Pokemon. He's not in sync with his Pokemon, unlike Roy, who has a strong bond with his Pokemon. All their movements were in sync with one another. And he was just recklessly using moves and not considering Sableye's feelings. And he also put a little bit of extra trust into his Pokemon in that Dustfall, kind of prioritizing it over Sableye unconsciously. Trying to rely on that and, being his ace in the hole. And as a result, Master Mayonnaise doesn't think he's worthy of Mega Evolution and doesn't think it's going to happen. Pretty much tells him to give up, which Alt is frustrated and does not want to give up. However, this all is kind of a learning lesson for them because Lucario actually shows up, having witnessed the battle. Leads them back into the area that they were previously at. The Mayo Maze, I believe it's what it's called. And this time around, Alt actually relies on Sableye to get through, whereas before he was kind of just running through on his own and not really. I think at one point he kind of abandoned, not like necessarily abandoned Sableye, but was kind of just like not really caring enough for him earlier in the previous episode. But he was showing a little bit more care, showing that he's already developed slightly and realizing his mistakes already. And they easily are able to make it back to where Lucario is, but wait a second. Lucario's not here. Instead, we got two jokers here. We got some Count dude and some Ninja dude that Roy and Alt are going to be facing off against in the next episode. So, yeah, that's pretty much where this episode comes to an end. Overall, I actually like this episode. Kind of feel bad for those that are ditching these Kalos flashback episodes, and saying that they're not worth it because we already know what's going to happen. Because there's actually some stuff in here that you wouldn't get context on. Like Emma's in the episode, you wouldn't get the context with her and Alt and their relationship. Alt's backstory. How he kind of developed a little bit. He's obviously developed even more since these episodes, since the 1 year time skip. But we get to know a little bit more about him. I don't know exactly what happened with his parents, but apparently he was homeless for a little bit there. So, Maybe he just ran away from home. Who knows? Maybe we'll get more information on that down the road. But I think this is good for Alt's character and his background. I think they're starting to do a better job with him now. It's actually pretty neat. And like I said, I feel bad for those that are skipping these episodes because you're missing out this context. Yes, we know that Roy and Alt are going to master Mega Evolution. Yes, we know that Roy is going to get a shiny Lucario here. We know that. We know that that's going to happen, but you're missing some context here. And these episodes are filling in the gaps, and I think so far so good. I actually kind of like this episode a little bit more than the last episode. So for me, I give this one a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I am very much enjoying these episodes. So we'll see what happens in the final episode next week. Will Roy and Alt defeat these two? Will they learn Mega Evolution? No. Just kidding. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was a fun episode. Anyways, what do you guys in the comment section or chat think? Post your thoughts in the chat. Emma knows. Yeah, she knows. She saw that one gaggy moment where she went all out with her food that she made for them. She almost drops that. I think were they croissants or just buns or something? I don't know, but she was about to drop it and it's saved at the last minute. Psychic. Yeah, you get to see the paper that shows the incident with the Rising Boat Tacklers. So. Yeah. So she is aware. She saw what Exceed was saying, but she is a detective now, so she probably can see through their deception. See? That's good. I like it. Yeah, I like the fact that she's already a detective now, too. I failed to mention that earlier, but she is a detective, so, like, this is definitely post, like the X and Y games. Moving into ZA. Which is why I'm wondering, because, like, she appears to be quite a bit older than Roy and Alt. In fact, I'd say she's an adult. Though it's based on her original design, so that's why I'm wondering if maybe we see her now, 1 year later, she'll have her newer design. It'd be pretty neat. A little, another tie-in to ZA, just saying. I'm really liking the sound of this. People honestly need to quit complaining on this being trash and Horizon as a whole as of late. I know Season 5 wasn't ideal but for some, but sure it wasn't a 0 out of 10. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I will say this, like, I've started thinking about it a little bit more, obviously, when in, like, 2045, when I finally complete my Mega Voltage arc review, I'll give my full-on thoughts there, but, like, I will say as a plan, like, when it compares to some of the other arcs, I do think it is a downgrade from what we got in Rayquaza Rising and Terrestrial Debut. And I'd almost even argue, like, Arc 1, too. I'd say it's a little bit better than Arc 2. So I'd say it's probably second least favorite right now, but it had good episodes, and it's funny because, like, every time I do these streams, they always get 10-9 always wins, so it's like, I think people are still enjoying the series, so it'd be a different story if I was getting, like, predominantly lower than 5 ratings. Just saying. But yeah, I think that it had its issues that hopefully this upcoming arc will rectify, but we'll see. I like how this episode goes into Pokemon psychology, taking about how Sableye got out of breath due to spamming attacks. Yeah, that is good. It shows that it's kind of, it was, Alt was using his moves, Sableye's moves recklessly, which was wearing it down, which I thought was pretty neat. Based on the preview for the next episode, we know Alt will master Mega Evolution and Roy will Mega Lucario. Well, no way. Didn't know that. It's coming. Honestly, feel bad for Alt being homeless. Well, he ain't now, but that's wild. I know that was actually I was kind of surprised. That's why I'm like, what happened to his parents? Did he just run away from home, or did he like? Did something happen, or like? Are they gonna elaborate on that? I mean, I know that the kid is headstrong, but you'd think parents would at least try to find him. Especially now that he was homeless for that little bit of time. Which ain't good. Can definitely cause problems. Looker was like a father figure to Emma. Yep, true. What's up, Miraculous 365? How you doing? Maybe Alt got into a bad fight with his parents and he ran away, like being kind of like a rebel like character. I mean, probably, but I still think his parents should, look for him. I like how Emma was being like the big sister to Alt. Yep, big sister. It's nice. She taught him everything too. It's kind of nice. Alt was a garbage man picking up litter. I mean, when you're in that type of situation, you'll do anything for some change. When you're that desperate. I really hope they fix the power scaling and have Nimona defeat Roy. Mega Voltage made some questionable decisions. We'll see what happens, Thomas. We'll see, but I'm just going to put it out there. This kind of flashback art proves that Lucario ain't no weakling. It was apparently undefeated here in Kalos, and I know that Nimona is a champion-level character in Paldea, but kind of got to factor this in now that we have this context. Kind of smooths things out slightly, in my opinion at least. But hey, I'm just some guy on the internet, I suppose, making YouTube videos and streams and stuff. Yeah. Also, the fact. Does it mean fact? Also, the face. Also, the fact. Emma needed to teach him the basic male. Makes me think Alt may have not had been able to learn anything at home, which is kind of sad when you think about that in hindsight. It's kind of interesting that Alt was, living with Emma because Alt is, like, afraid of women. And yet he literally tolerates Emma, which I find kind of interesting. Anyone else notice that? Was it because she was almost like a older sibling to him? Is that why? Almost. Hope we see Alt unite with his parents later in the series. I mean, we still have Roy needs to unite with his parents in the series, so get in line, I suppose, right? Darn your keyboard. It happens. It could be that maybe Alt's parents were too busy for him and could not really teach him basic skills. That's not an excuse. Just gonna say that right now. That ain't an excuse. That means you're just crappy parents and probably shouldn't have kids. If you're not gonna teach your kid like even the most basic of things, then yeah, you're trash. You don't need to have kids, and well, maybe it was for the best. If that's the case. It's implied that Alt's parents had no time for him. That's why he ran away due to neglect. His dad gave him the dust ball to take care of because they had no time. Okay, yep. Solidifies the fact that I think that Alt's parents are trash. I guess we got to give his dad some slight credence because he did kind of give him a powerful ally later down the road. Had crappy parents confirmed. Bulbapedia will tell us. You know, if I can actually spell alt right. Whew, let's see his history. Yeah, it says right now it says due to unknown events, Alt ended up alone on the city streets, spending his days living in an alley until he was helped by Emma, who taught him to read and write and welcomed him into her home. So yeah. Where was Alt's mom in this? Well, we haven't even seen her at all, so missing parent. Join the list of missing parents in Pokemon. Roy destroyed Alt in this battle. Well, it's to be expected. Roy's a little bit more competent than Alt at this point. He's only got Sableye, and Roy's got at least, you know, a decent team behind him. Not even factoring in Lucario later on. The food Emma made looked pretty good. Yep, that's how anime food usually tends to be. It be like that. Tends to look delicious. And the more you talk about food, the more I get hungry. I won't be having lunch for a little bit either, since I'm going to a party here. Did Emma make some sort of spaghetti and rice balls? You could say that. Yes, I'm gonna try to not think about that. Any Pokemon food I would eat? No, but I would prefer not to talk about food because you are literally making me hungry every single comment. I like this Cosmo Canyon remix that's going on in the background. Pretty nice. But yeah, nice episode. Next episode will be the end of these Kalos flashback episodes. And we'll move back on to Pokemon Horizons proper. You know what? Okay. I failed to mention this. I actually failed to mention this, guys. Something to note about this episode. This is the only episode of Pokemon Horizons so far in which Liko does not appear. Yes, no Liko in this episode. Dot as well, though Dot showed up as Nidothing in the beginning. So something to note. We didn't have Roy for the first 2 episodes of Horizon, so this is payback. So yeah, no Liko in this episode. We'll probably see her at the end of next week's episode, though. I guarantee you at the end of the story, they're going to be like, well, we're arriving at Blueberry Academy. Do you think in the future we will see ZA under Mega Malamar? I don't know, but it would be cool if we saw her, because, like, again, she does appear older here. But she's in her original design. So we might see her in her ZA design later on. I don't know. We have this connection, though, with Alt and Emma and Roy and stuff. So that's cool. That means she's someone that might potentially appear later on. Probably is wondering what's going, you know, where Alt is right now. Do you think Alt has even said anything to her? Said, hey, I'm like not in Kalos anymore? Why did Sableye blush? I can't remember exactly in that moment. Can you point to me where when that was going on in the episode? I might be able to answer that. 9 out of 10. Gotcha. I'm kind of out of stuff to say, so I'll go watch the subs. Alright, Pokefan, go ahead and check the episode out. She appears in a flashback. No Liko in this episode, the first time in the series. Yep. And there was a scene with her in school. I'm not gonna count that, really. That's just a flashback. As an actual appearance, no. Solid episode. Do you think we will see any of the ZA characters in the series? I don't know. Like, imagine, yeah. Kanari, whoever that is. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm kind of not really reading because I don't want to be further spoiled. I'm just saying I told you guys to chill on the ZA stuff. I barely played the game. It's a flashback, Thomas. I'm going to count it as a no because it's not her in the actual episode. Like the actual events of the episode. It's just Roy recounting that, though. Dang it, dude. Okay, since we got a little bit of a breather here, just want to say if you are brand new to the channel, like, subscribe, all that stuff. In fact, let's get some more likes up in here. Can we get one more like to get to 5 and then maybe try to get to 10 likes? Can we maybe do that? Also, remember to vote in the poll, guys, if you haven't already. And turn into a quiet Saturday. 10-9, 8-7. Those are only votes so far. So what you're saying, Thomas, is this is that's a flashback within the flashback. Interesting. 10-9 has gotten 40% of the votes, and 8-7, 60. So remember to like and then vote in the poll if you haven't already. It would be cool if we saw the yeah, those characters. I can imagine if that joke scenario I mentioned on is Sorry, I can't imagine if that joke scenario I mentioned is that she would be like, so I've been looking for you for a year, and you turn out you just be with Roy and didn't even bother calling and texting me? Yeah, right? Yeah. I like this remix of Outside Island. It's nice. Hey, Sharon, I'm gonna just say this one more time. No more ZA. We're done talking about ZA for the rest of the stream, okay? No characters, no. I don't know who the characters you're talking about, but I don't want to be further, like, not just, like, spoiled, but, like, I would like to meet some of these characters that I haven't met yet. You're kind of just dropping names, and I'd have no context as to what these characters are, so please, no more. And that's the last warning I'm gonna give. She just starts her agency and just helps people just to find alt. Sounds about right. Anyway, it's very chill Saturday. Anyways, got to go. Bye, chat. Alright, Pokefan, thanks for chilling with us today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, pretty quiet Saturday. Do you guys have anything? I know I said at the beginning of the stream I wasn't going to go on probably more than an hour today. Do you guys have anything else for me today regarding this episode and the next episode, or the one episode of Rising Again, or the Blue Academy that we know of? Is there anything else? I'll admit, we don't really have a whole lot to talk about right now, but we should be getting some new episode titles and summaries here very soon. Either this next week or the week after. So then we'll have some more things to talk about. I'll admit things have been pretty slow as of late. That's fine. Mimi is Emma's friend, and she does not like battling. Yeah. You know, Accio, can you use water? Sure can. Oh, yeah. Accelerator. Anything else for today, guys? If not, we might end up wrapping up a little bit earlier than usual today. Will we find out how Kilowattrel learned Electro Ball? I don't know. Maybe it shows up in next week's episode. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not really the main focus of these episodes, though. Mm-hmm. It seems like we got some more people joining. Hey, what's up, y'all? If you could do me a favor and hit that like button, I would definitely appreciate it. And vote in the poll. That would be cool. Needs more love. We've been saying that for like how long now? How did Alt catch Sableye? Seems like he's just been with them for a while. Seems like it happened sometime between leaving his parents and, you know, becoming homeless. But Sableye has been guiding him the whole time. Do you think Alt lived in a poor family? I have no clue. There's not really much implication there to say that's the case, but then again, he was on his own by that point. So I don't know. Anything else? Are humans in the Pokemon born the same way as people? And you mean in the Pokemon world, born the same way as humans are in real life? I would assume so, Sharon. Okay. Alright, guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up early today. Can a person become immortal in Pokemon? I don't know. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up early. Doesn't seem like we have a large crowd today, so I got places to be too. So yeah, we'll just end this one off earlier than normal. So, alright, see ya, Sharon. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Only 5 votes, but 8-7 wins, so let's give this episode an 8 out of 10. So, yeah, we're gonna be pretty busy this week. I might try to do ZA tomorrow again, ZA on Monday, and then Tuesday through probably Thursday is gonna be Genshin. Maybe I'll do the ZA stream on Friday, but I might take a break. And then obviously we'll be doing this again next Saturday. And then maybe on Sunday, the next Sunday, we'll do ZA again. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling this week. And we'll see how long Genshin takes me this time, so don't know how the upcoming quest is going to be, but the first 2 for Nod Cry have been super long, so yeah, 8 hours I think between the 2 of them, 8 to 10 hours, so we'll see how long these ones are for this week. So if I get done Wednesday, I guess we can move back on to ZA early, but that will be seen. Anyways, guys, yep, I'm done. So, hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you're at. And I'll see you all later. Bye.